Hey everyone, Till here. Today we will take a look at the handwriting and note-taking performance of the Xiaomi Pad 6s Pro with the Xiaomi Focus Pen. First of all, disclaimer, I have purchased the tablet and pen for review purposes, so this is not a sponsored video. Let's talk about the Xiaomi Focus Pen first. So this pen was designed and released together with the Xiaomi Pad 6s Pro. And I have purchased this pen for 100 Singapore dollars, which is around 74 US dollars. Now the pricing for the pen and tablets can vary significantly depending on where you buy them from. So this pen supports palm rejection, slightly over 8,000 levels of pressure sensitivity, 3 milliseconds of latency, but there is no tilt sensitivity. This pen uses Bluetooth and can attach magnetically to the side of the tablet for charging and pairing. I do not know what's the battery life, but since the pen is always attached by the side of the tablet, it's always going to be fully charged. The body of this pen is matte textured throughout except for the back here, so there is no eraser at the back. That's the Xiaomi logo. The design is almost cylindrical except for this flat side here, which attaches to the side of the tablet. So it may seem like there are only 2 buttons, but there are 3 buttons. The pen tip is tapered, and this is a hard plastic pen tip with almost no movement at all when in contact with the drawing surface. So this pen tip is replaceable. You just have to unscrew it. At the time of making this video, I do not find any replacement pen tips for sale yet on AliExpress. And this pen tip design is different from the Xiaomi Smart Pen 1 and 2, unfortunately, so you cannot use those replacement pen tips for the earlier pens here. Speaking of the earlier pen models, I have no idea whether this new pen is compatible with the older tablets, Xiaomi Pad 5 and Pad 6. So this is where I need your help. If you happen to have the older tablets and the new pen, let me know whether this is usable with the older tablets, or if you have the new tablet, Pad 6s Pro, and the older pens, let me know whether the older pens can be used on this newer tablet. One downside to the shortcut buttons is they are not customizable, so you cannot disable them and you cannot customize the buttons as shortcuts for drawing apps. So let's see how the buttons work. If you press and hold the Notes button on the home screen or the lock screen, this UI will appear, and if you tap on the display, this will open up Xiaomi Notes. If you are using some other app and you press and hold the Notes button and tap on the display, this will open the floating window version of Xiaomi Notes. And you can move this floating window to the side in split screen mode, or you can have it float by the side and just move it around. Now this Notes app does not have many features, which is why I'm not using this app for the handwriting test. So let's close this and look at the shortcut for screenshot. So same thing, you have to press and hold, and now you can draw an area, and this will be your screenshot. So you can save this into your pictures folder. One thing I like about the activation of the shortcuts is you have to press and hold. So it's very difficult for you to accidentally hit a button and go into the Notes app, or hit a button and take a screenshot. For the last button, this is the so-called spotlight button. So if you press and hold, there is this red cursor which will appear. So now you can use the pen to control the cursor. I believe this is useful if you connect the tablet to an external display for presentation. It is not easy to move the cursor around accurately. If you just press the button, a brush will appear. Yeah, same thing, it's kind of difficult to move the brush accurately around the display. And now if you press and hold, you can draw on the display. So this is really for presentation purposes. To erase, just press the middle button. Oh, by the way, you can use the front and middle button to scroll through web pages. And you can use this spotlight button to take photos as well when you are using the camera app. And now for the handwriting and note-taking tests, I'll be using Navel first. This video is not sponsored by Navel, by the way. Palm rejection works really well on this tablet with the pen. So right now I have my palm on the display and I did not introduce any stray strokes. And if I try to draw with my finger, you can see that it just moves the canvas around. It doesn't draw any stray stroke. This display is laminated, so when writing, it looks like there is no gap between the line and the pen tip. And because this is a hard plastic pen tip, when you tap on the display, you can hear the tapping sound. Latency performance will vary depending on the app you use. So for Navel, I can see the line trying to catch up with the pen tip as I draw this long sweeping line. However, if I'm just writing, I don't really notice the latency, so latency performance is pretty good. If you want to achieve the 3 milliseconds latency, you will have to use the Xiaomi Notes app, which is this app that I'm using. So right now, as I draw this long sweeping line, the gap as the pen is trying to catch up with the pen tip is smaller compared to what you saw earlier with Navel. I would say that the Xiaomi Pad 6s Pro is able to capture my handwriting accurately. And I can write pretty fast. For this app, you can use the lasso tool to select your handwritten notes and convert it into editable text. And the conversion is quite accurate, except for this part here where it's 65 instead of 6S. So let me undo and see what is happening. Okay, so maybe this does look like a 5. Another thing about this lasso tool is you can move part of your notes around. Let me just move this up here and move this here, and you can select everything again and do a conversion. And if you want to, let's say, type, you can tap anywhere on the display to move the cursor anywhere, or you can tap here and continue typing. So this is actually quite versatile. Next, let's look at Concepts, which is one of my favorite sketching and drawing apps. So this is a sketch of my old bedroom at my parents' place. So you can use this app for taking notes as well. It's just that there aren't many, well, note-taking features. So this app is really just for drawing purposes. Because of the fantastic pressure sensitivity and the accuracy of the pen, the overall handwriting and note-taking experience is really good with this tablet and pen. Oh, by the way, if you have not checked out my full artist review of the Xiaomi Pad 6s Pro, the link is in the video description below. The only downside here is there aren't note-taking features like text conversion. Some people always say I write too big, but you can write small as well. Alright, to conclude, the Xiaomi Pad 6s Pro and the Xiaomi Focus Pen will get an easy A+ for handwriting and note-taking performance and experience.